Oh, love is in the air. How about that?
Happy Valentine's.
Happy.
I mean, we're a little early, but
It's never too early.
it's never too early to proclaim love is in the air, right, Chef?
I would think it knows no season.
That's right. We are here doing a virtual wine and chocolate tasting for those of you that can't be here in person. Today is what? The 5th?
The
6th?
5th.
Something
Yeah,
like
it's the
that.
5th.
We're already into February somehow.
Where did January go?
I'm not really sure. But this is the Ed and Chris show. We taste wines virtually every single week. And yeah, we do it here in person. We're getting geared up. Chef's been making chocolates for the last, 3 days?
Yeah, about that.
And he's still at it. Pried him out of the kitchen to do a quick video.
He said something about wine.
Wine is, yeah, it's just like, when you're fishing, you got to have the right bait. For this guy,
Wine.
this works.
I guess we can give the chocolate a break for a little while.
There's always, you got to have that mandatory union break.
That's a thank you.
As you as our expert chocolatier, Chef, you can't work around the clock. You got to have your wine breaks.
And, the chocolate needs to temper too.
That's
So,
right.
I mean, we don't want to rush these things.
Yeah.
Patience.
Yeah. So we're going to taste 3 wines on this particular day. We have a bunch of wines. We're doing 5 today in person, but we still have to perform, so we're only going to taste 3 of them.
It's canceled. The event's canceled, folks.
If you,
Hey, we're ready to be a buffet.
Yeah,
We just set everything out.
just
You
step over Ed and Chris.
Help yourselves.
Mhm.
It'll all be fine.
But we're gonna talk about these chocolates that Chef's been working on all week, and we're gonna talk about some wines that we're really proud to serve. We've got so many great people in our lives that introduce us to wines, and we're gonna showcase some of those. We're gonna start off with a stunner from Sandhi, and this is from Santa Barbara County. This was Santa Rita Hills. Pretty straightforward there. They got it blasting right up there, which I kind of dig that. I like the pride in the region.
Yes, absolutely.
This is the 21 and freshly off of the Wine Advocate's 96 rating. Unbelievable.
Yeah, they don't hand those out very often.
And very hard to get your hands on that now. Luckily, Carrie, our wine gurus, snagged us a case before it went
What a coup that
completely
was.
viral,
Yeah.
I guess. But Chris and I are huge fans of Santa Barbara wines. Of course, we did that big Fest Parker dinner here a couple years ago that many of you were at. And what can we say? We just, Mom and Joe have been going out there
Yeah,
and bringing back wines.
Great wines, all those
Yeah.
boutique wines
Yeah.
that you can't find every day.
Yes.
It's always a treat.
Very cool climate out there, the coolest climate, I would say. It's 2 hours south, basically, of Sonoma, the Santa Barbara County area, and it's very much cooler because of the Pacific Coast air conditioner, I like to call it. Of course, you have these huge valleys that are really holding in the cool air. Just like, I don't know, it's just like a blanket, really. And these,
you can see it just kind of hanging there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the Burgundian style grapes, Chard and Pinot, which we're having Pinot, really do exceptionally well there, and that's why they're getting such high scores. I really like this area. It has that real, those rocks that like weigh nothing. They're like balsa wood. They're just like these really porous, kind of nutrient. It's not great for growing other things. It's very light nutrients, I guess. More rocky.
Right. It's not
Which
going to feed the soil like
Yeah.
grapes.
Right. Yeah. The vines struggle a little bit more here, and that's a good
Which
thing.
is great.
Because it makes more interesting wines. But we like the style of Santa Barbara because there's certainly a lot of finesse in their wines, and when it comes to Pinot, I think most people that are looking for world-class Pinots, they want finesse.
This does not disappoint. This wine is outrageous. Excuse me, it is outrageously good. So bright, so fruity.
I think there's such a floral component too.
Tons of florality. Rose petal, hibiscus,
Hibiscus, I like
strawberry, green.
Strawberry. Lord child, the strawberry, wild strawberries.
Wild
Absolutely.
strawberries for days. I mean, this is,
There's some nice little pink peppercorn on the nose.
believe it, believe it. I mean, it's just, and then cocoa too, a little cocoa on the
Yep.
back. I mean, it's got a foundation. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not all bright for the sake of brightness. I mean, it still has a little weight to it, even though it's, it's just thin as paper. It's like looking through it.
Yeah.
But great mouthfeel. Lingers, the acid, linger.
Oh, yeah. It's a beauty. I'm curious. We're drinking a 2021. I'm fascinated to see how this will age. I don't know what it'll age like at what rate, but this is such a beautiful wine right out of the gates.
I think, with such a small allocation too, I mean, it's gonna really test your patience.
Yeah.
To hide a couple of those, to lay down, to revisit, it'd be a worthwhile endeavor, but it would be hard to do.
Well, with that being said,
God, that's good.
yeah, that's a heck of a breakfast, chef. Let's talk about these chocolates while we're really savoring this beautiful Pinot. And I'm assuming you can probably see pretty good on our little camera. We have this beautiful praline white chocolate truffle. Just the brownie lollipop.
It's the brownie lollipop, which I bake the brownie, I let it cool, and then I break it up and soak cherry. I make a cherry and blood orange syrup.
Nice.
And pour it over the brownie to moisten it and make
Right.
it into the little balls, and dip it into milk chocolate.
Because it's chocolate on chocolate there.
Chocolate on chocolate.
And
But
this
a good fruit component to
this
that.
was I was watching you make these tarts, chef. That is a beautiful piece right there to the element. It really, what I want to say here about these 5 chocolates is they're all extremely different.
Yes, and you would think, you would have chocolate overload, but where it would start to taste the same, but I really wanted to try to approach each thing individually so they have some characteristics that stick out. So hopefully we've accomplished that. I guess the proof's in the pudding.
That's right.
We'll find out here in a minute.
So this is a brulee.
It is a chocolate creme brulee tart.
Right. That's a lot going on. That is going to be extremely popular. And then our classic, Valentine's chocolate dip strawberry.
Have to
Pretty
have it.
straightforward, right?
Really here, which is true in all of these, but really on the strawberry, first, like you said, Chef, classic, gotta have it, needs to be there. So we don't want to, I've seen some really cool stuff that people have done. I really like how people hollow them out, and they'll pipe like cheesecake or
Yeah.
something in and still chocolate dip it, but, no.
No,
It's just
it's true.
it's cool, I love
Yeah.
it, but,
This is something that people are expecting, right?
Belgian bittersweet chocolate, Calabo, Belgian white chocolates. So really, we're just showcasing the quality of our confection here, and of course the brightness. Strawberries are great this time of year. I
Yeah.
was really surprised.
Yeah.
I was like, oh boy, they're gonna have cardboard, but no, they look great. I
Got
think in
some
Florida and Texas are doing a
Good
great
juice
job.
content on them. And then finally, this beautiful terrine here. And what do you got right on top there?
Well, I candied some fresh oranges. So the terrine itself is a ganache, bittersweet chocolate, which I infused with Grand Marnier and espresso. So it's got a lot of flavor. You look at it, it looks very dense. You would think it's just going to be overwhelmingly heavy because of the density, but it's not. I don't add a lot of sugar to this, and so I really let the liqueurs work in symphony with the chocolate. And then, so what I did is I really kind of it was kind of a cross. A lot of times when you candy an orange, the traditional wisdom is this vat of syrup, a seasoned syrup, and you just simmer your oranges in that for like an hour, and then you rinse. Anyway, all this stuff. And what I did is just cut the segments out of these oranges, and then I dipped them in syrup and put them in the oven overnight, and just let the pilot, with
Kind of like if you're doing like meringue cookies
like a
or something
meringue,
like that.
yeah, and like I've done it with pears like this before. But the oranges really do well because it withheld some of its moisture. Some of them got a little crisp, but I think that textural change would be cool too.
Yeah, well, it's very creative.
We'll find out here.
Thinking outside the box, and that's what makes a great chef, in my opinion. And you know, I want to make note that you're gonna, in your pickup packs, you're gonna have 3 wines here, and we're gonna go through them and just touch base. Really, the reason why we have this wine is because Chris and I want to drink it.
You're welcome.
But
Ed
also,
brought the thunder. Ed brought the thunder. This when you said that this morning, I'm like, yes.
but also, it does go with the chocolate as well. So particularly with the strawberry, I would have your Pinot. That's where I would start because of this freshness of this Pinot. The like you said, the strawberry intensity.
The
here is-
intensity of it is going to love that strawberry. It may love a little bit of the orange there too, in the terrine.
I agree. I think you wouldn't be upset having this Pinot with everything on the plate. But we really, with the 5 wines we have here in person, the Pinot was aimed at the strawberry. We have also we're going to have here in person. We're going to have the Barchetta d'Aqui, which is like a red bubbly, kind of like Moscato, but And then we're also going to have our Autumn Leaf Gold, which is what we make here in house. Tyler Feltz, our winemaker, one of his most popular wines.
Yep, that lovely peach.
Yeah,
essence.
so peach essence there that we're going to have along with that. So enjoy these 3 wines at your leisure, but I just wanted to say we're aiming at that strawberry, but Pinot really does like milk chocolate too. I think that brownie would really.
And the cherry in that, the cherry syrup and that. Yeah, great
absolutely,
call. Great call.
So, but please try it all, and then you can decide which you like best. I would say that this wine is certainly delicious on its own merits, but also benefits from food as well.
Oh, it's waking up.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting dusty. In a great way.
It's waking me up.
Yeah, that's
too.
what I just said.
I was dragging this morning.
Yeah, I put a French press in front of you, but I don't think that was getting it done. You needed some Pinot.
Yeah, Pinot is what I needed. To wake up. I've just had a little problem sleeping lately, and there's been a lot on my mind.
Insomnia is not uncommon for people your age.
Yeah.
So maybe
Maybe that's what it is.
maybe a little sleep consultation, where they put all the little probes on you while you take a nap.
Yeah, maybe
I'm sure that'll knock it out.
I'm sure that
That's
will do it.
probably the root cause.
That probably.
Yeah.
Probably nothing that I'm doing.
No, you're a victim.
I'm a victim, of course. But anyway, so I'll just be a little giddy, but I will get through this video.
So you want to label this Slap Happy Valentine?
Slap Happy, I love it. Yeah, I've been giggling my way through the last couple of weeks for sure, and that's not about to stop anytime soon. So
Good.
let's just roll with it.
We like Giggle Ed.
Giggle Ed, yes.
Giggle Some, Giggle Chef.
It's better than some of the other Eds I've been called. Like when Chef was chefing in Kentucky. This is our next beautiful wine, Dornier, and this is something that we just had. We had the Chenin Blanc and the Malbec.
Malbec,
yeah. And so we got, this is our 3rd straight offering. But when Chef was in Kentucky, I would go visit him, and somehow I got the nickname Evil Ed in Kentucky. But those days are long gone.
Thank you. Oh yeah, we don't even know who that was.
No, we don't know. But we are going to slip into some South African red now, and Dornier, as I alluded to here, this is their Pinotage 2019. Now remember, they're harvesting in February, which is now. So whenever you see these vintages from South Africa, just go ahead and think in terms of it's the beginning of the year when these are picked and fermented, as opposed to like when we were picking in August, September, or sometimes even into October in some places.
As warm as it's
in
been
America. In America.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, Pinotage, of course, is a cross of Cinsault and Pinot Noir. So we're going to go from Pinot Noir to basically an offspring, if you will. And this is considered the red of South Africa, and rightfully so. It's a unique beverage. We've seen all kinds of styles, from the footy kind of weird, to the more modern that are you know, they're robust, but they're not too weird, I
No,
guess.
they're not as weird, and yeah, I think you're really starting to see a lot of different winemakers approach this grape differently.
Yeah.
And that's always fun when you see a varietal represented in so many styles. I can't wait. I love Cinsault, I love Pinot, I love South Africa. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna have it all.
Yeah, so this is another beautiful offering. Again, we were just overwhelmed with the outpouring of positive feedbacks from this winery on their Chenin Blanc and the Malbec, which was just so impressive. And now, this Pinotage, which,
God, this is fabulous.
I mean, this would be what I would want to sit down in front of someone and say, hey, this is Pinotage.
This is
Because it's
Pinotage.
not over the top. I mean, you can get some really funky, swampy kind of Pinotages. This is not it, but it still has characteristics of that.
And there's a lot of Pinotage that just has it on the nose.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste that way.
Right.
But it kind of,
Yeah.
it's off-putting to if that's the first one you ever had.
Sure.
You're not as likely to revisit it or even enjoy the juice itself because the bouquet is so powerful.
And I've had people sitting down at tastings and stuff, and they're like, I can't drink this
Yeah.
because of the smell. I'm
Yeah.
like, trust me, just, taste,
Because
put it on your
it's
palate.
delicious. It's
Yeah,
delicious.
put it on your palate, and the nose doesn't always match the palate, I think is what we're saying. And it doesn't have to, it's not important. I mean, it's a great characteristic to talk about the nose, but we're drinking the wine. We're not sniffing the wine.
It's not
We're not
scratch and
snorting
sniff.
it, right? I think they do that in Colombia, chef.
That's why you don't see a lot of wine come out of there.
They're drowning.
They've got it all wrong.
But anyway, so the idea here is that Pinotage can be funky on the nose, somewhat on the palate, but here I think, and that's certainly the Cinsault factor. I think Cinsault, you don't see a lot of, but there's another thing you see in South Africa is single varietal Cinsault.
Which, it seems to really shine in that terroir.
Yeah.
Where it does in the rest of the world, it kind of uses it as a blender. And it's, in its defense, it's why so many blends are so great.
Yeah,
Are the peripheral blenders. I mean, they really bring more than we probably give the 8%ers
Right.
credit for. I mean,
Those,
color, depth,
yeah.
weight. I mean, they really make a blend special, but they can get away from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes I feel they're too valuable to single variety, to singularly bottle because of their value to the overall blend.
Right. Yeah. They're a crucial element to those. What we would call GSMC. When you're the fourth guy down the line there, but that C is important.
That C is important because it's your Grenache gets away from you one year, your Syrah gets away from you one year. These blenders bring it down, and they either enhance it or stomp it.
Or pull them all
together. I mean, depending on what and that's again the beauty of wine. Every year you're looking at all these different expressions from the earth, from the ground, and so you've got your little mad scientists in there saying, what's going to be the best expression in the bottle of all these different grapes and how they interact, and this is so cool.
And chef, this to further just to get into this wine specifically, tons of beautiful fruit here, dark fruit, red fruit, extremely dry wine. The acidity is perfectly integrated. The alcohol is perfectly integrated. Nothing is very homogenized. There's nothing standing out. It's full of flavor, great texturally. Just that drying on the tongue. It really sits on the front of my tongue.
Absolutely.
And when you have this type of textural beverage in terms of the dryness, when you're reaching out to that sweet and sticky chocolate, it's the perfect counterbalance.
The dryness is really going to, but it does have your taste buds are producing water, so you're ready for some chocolate.
Yeah. I mean, there's enough acidity here that you're not cotton mouth, so to speak, but you are definitely, the palate is ready for something. It wants something on. Yeah, absolutely. So I think this would be wonderful with your terrine.
That bitter chocolate with
and of course the brownie. and I would say even the tart.
I would think the tart would be my second choice.
Yeah.
Even though I know I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, those two really.
Yeah.
When you'll start talking about that down the road, each of these, are just born for a couple of these pairings. But this, I think, would be fun to kind of work the plate with.
Definitely.
But I mean, I think the terrine, obviously, the bitter chocolate, the orange is going to be a home run with this. But it would be fascinating to see the cherry and the egg component in the brulee. I mean, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and when you're talking about the orange, when you get into, you don't necessarily think about citrus and red wines, but there's so many examples of elements of citrus flavors, particularly on the bitter side of things.
The bitter and the dry.
In red wines. And so there is, I'm not saying this wine's bitter because it is not, but there are elements in there that would complement that pithiness of orange.
I think for me too, associating dryness with bitter
Right.
works.
Yes.
I mean,
Definitely.
it just feels like, without anything to back it up, it's just like,
No,
it feels like it would be right.
I
Yeah.
agree. And I mean, you don't have to have some kind of scientific explanation. This is a matter of taste. And we're a perfect example of it. We are not stuffy and rigid. We're kind of, gunslingers.
Absolutely,
We know
and
flavor.
we have different palates.
Yeah.
Even though we understand each other's palates, we have different likes and dislikes than each other. It's never glaring because we love food and wine, so it's never going to be like, ew. But I mean, that's a good thing. It gives you more to talk about, gives you more to explore. It's fun.
And being we're lifelong chefs, we've tasted a lot of things, and so we can oftentimes link things together that some people wouldn't.
Oh, well, we've also had a lot of bad things. So
Yes.
I mean, that's a good teacher also.
Yeah.
When you tried a bunch of combinations, it doesn't work. And that's not saying from a matter of taste.
You know
I
what
mean, it's
does-
like, that's terrible.
Right. You know what doesn't work is me and Panera Bread. Oof. Broth.
How are they still open?
Don't know. Anyway, that's up for a different show. Anyway, so we're gonna get into Portugal now.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we're just going to do a baby pour here because we are in on fortified wine. And we're talking about Broadbent. Of course, we have that beautiful, recognizable label. This is their tawny port. Of course, tawny, different from ruby. There's really three, you can really break it down into three general styles. But there's far more than that, but I'm just being super general. There's white port. Which we've done before many a times here. And there's ruby port, which is the fresh, concrete vat, no oxidation. And then you have tawny, which is oxidized by barrel aging. And, so you're always going to get this brickish, coming to brown, which is extremely desirable for tawnies. That's what you want. And those oxidative notes from this great classic Portuguese red blend, fortified. I think most people, it's their introduction to Portuguese wines, although it shouldn't be the end. They should just continue to dive into Portugal, and that's why Chris and I are going to Portugal.
That's exactly right.
That's because we have to do the work.
Listen, and when we...
Next month.
It's so close.
Next month we will be in Portugal.
It is so close. I cannot wait to eat and drink our way through it together. I could not be more excited.
Well, let's talk about the
Let's
nose
talk
on
about
this
the
rascal.
butterscotch nose
Wow.
on this.
Yes, butterscotch, raisins, like fruit cake.
Fruitcake.
Fruit cake.
With the apricots and all the figs dried into
Yes.
the fruitcake. Yeah.
Oh yes,
Walnuts.
definitely.
I don't know why I smell walnuts. on
Nutty.
this, but
It's
nutty. Like
nuttier
crazy.
than you are, chef.
That's a tall order. I mean, you could just not drink it and just enjoy. We talked about the nose on the pinotage. Well, now we're in a situation where the nose is so wonderful, you wouldn't even have to drink it. So
Right.
we've got the best of best examples of two different styles of the nose here.
Right, and the palate is completely matched up with the bouquet. I mean, it tastes just like it smells. This is very, it just reminds me of like around the holidays of Thanksgiving, Christmas flavors. There's wonderful spice in here.
Big time.
That dried fruit that's just phenomenal. In the wintertime, that's what we're eating mostly is kind of.
You're eating the preserved harvest.
Yeah, you're not going to go out and pick them fruit.
And there's something natural about that.
Yeah.
We're supposed to harvest and preserve.
Yeah,
and
cure and
pickle and dry and all these things can.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense in the winter for these flavors to be celebrated. See, I don't even drink port. I just let it seep.
Yeah.
I like to
absorb into your tongue.
I take a sip and I just let it
Yeah.
just dissipate. I don't like to drink port because I love the way all the receptors attack this by just letting it sit.
Yeah, and so for something that could certainly be syrupy, this is not.
Not at all. It's just all character.
It has really good acidity in here that really washes away the syrupiness. There is residual sugar in here. I don't want to be very clear about that, but the way it finishes, it is not. What is the term? Cloying. It's
Right.
not. It's not that syrupy sweet, which would work, but this is such a more advanced beverage. I love Broadbent for all the things they do. Portuguese, of course, Madeira specialist. I've had a chance to meet Mr. Broadbent a couple of times. Phenomenal dude, great steward of all things wine, particularly Portuguese, of course. But everything that we had their 10-year tawny at the chef's table, and that's so well received. Every time I serve it, people are wanting to buy bottles of it. While they're eating dinner, they're like, "Can I get some bottles?"
Yeah,
of this?
let's reserve them right now.
And this is such a great value here. You're talking about like a $22 bottle of
Incredible.
something that you can. It's got. It is fortified. So once you open it, you've probably got 4 to 6 weeks without any change in it.
Well, and it's a double value.
Yeah.
I mean, not only is the price for this kind of character, but I mean, you'll be sipping on it for a long, long time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like wine where you just like,
You need to drink it
you're
a
not
couple
going to
days.
hammer the bottle and
Yeah.
say, what's the next bottle? I mean, this is going to go the distance.
A nice little nightcap at the end of the night. Like literally, if you poured 2 or 3 ounces of this, heck, once a week, it would be fresh all the way to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Over those 6 weeks or so.
And right now, I know this is a really special chocolate thing, but it's Girl Scout cookie season. And so I'm already on my second round of 5 boxes. Little Girl Scout cookie and
Big time.
nightcap with
Yeah, that's a great.
have a good healthy dinner and then
caramel
drink more.
delight. Is that what it's called?
Caramel
delight.
yeah.
Yeah. Caramel, tomato.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I wasn't trying to say
Oh
it.
no,
like
I see how it is.
I didn't
This
mean-
is war.
It
Potato. No,
I didn't mean
no,
for it to come
it's-
across that way.
No, it did not. But I always find it funny how people pronounce things differently, and that's one of those words.
Pecan.
Yes. Caramel, pecan, pecan. Those are like classic. Everybody's on a side, so to speak.
And unnecessarily virulent about it. Move on with your life.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's just
But this,
Caribbean.
there's another one. I agree. So this would be absolutely stunning with your truffle because of all the nut action going on there.
And the white chocolate is so much brighter.
Mhm.
Oh, it's gonna love it.
Yeah. And honestly, it will go with everything on the plate. But I
The
think
brulee
we're
and
certainly.
the-
I think we're aiming at the white chocolate.
The white chocolate and the crust on the brulee.
Yes.
That caramel
Yes.
sugar is going to pick
Yeah.
up
So
nicely.
and the pastry.
Yeah,
The
why don't you
pastry.
eat some? Why don't you try some stuff?
Chef, I'm
Can't do it,
I'm
yeah.
gonna drink my way through the
You
day.
can't do it? I respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and I will later today.
Okay.
But if I eat sugar right now, I'm gonna
You
crash.
don't have to crash.
I'm gonna crash.
Yeah, you don't want to crash.
We got
a big day.
We've got 2 seatings. We're creeping up on the first one, so we're gonna have to cut this video here in a second. But we got this big new seating, and then we're flipping down, doing a 3 o'clock seating.
We got a big day.
Yeah, we got a lot of our favorite people are gonna be here. We're really excited about it. So you're looking at very inexpensive wines here, under 25. This little rascal just coming in just under 50. If you like fine wine, you know, price isn't the issue here. You know, these are fine wines.
Yes.
It's not a price thing that makes a wine fine. It is the quality in the bottle. We have 3 quality reds here for you. Plus,
Believe it.
if you're here in person, you're gonna get to try our own autumn leaf gold and that beautiful Italian bubbles that are
Can't
gonna
wait
be
to
really
try the
fun.
Broadbent. I'm
Yeah,
excited about
yeah.
that.
So, what can I say? We're gonna catch you on our next video. I hope that you all are out there watching, sharing, liking, commenting on our videos, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a great weekend. Thanks,
And
thanks for tuning in.
love the one you're with, right? Happy Valentine's.
That's exactly right.